time. I am the king of wasting time, and I feel bad about it. Lately I don't feel blue, no longer turning blue. Beautiful flower, I bloom, on my way out of my tomb. Never could have guessed that the worst days I have ever faced will leave me standing tall today. My spirit and sick. Never could have guessed that the first time that I saw her face, I would wake up at her place. The goddamn smile on my face, lately I'm feeling good. Not likely that I'll ever get my shit together. Half my life I felt like I was under the weather. All my future endeavors are far from done. Getting fucked up in the train tracks, never wanna take those days back. Barely ever slept back then, that's the thing, nothing's changed. Fire again, I feel a spark inside my heart, I feel alive again. I feel a fire again, I feel a spark inside my heart, I feel alive again. I feel the fire, it burns. I feel a fire again, I feel a spark inside my heart, I feel alive again. You know I miss the boys, they're out in Santa Cruz. Some days wish I lived on the moon, never had to meet another douchebag. Think back to when I met the boys, age 19. We were living on Chandler Street, fucking it up with a slim moon. Never could have guessed that all the times we cheated dead, I'll be standing here with my head, again, I feel the spark. I feel a fire again, I feel a spark inside my heart, I feel alive again. I feel the fire, it burns. I feel a fire again, I feel the spark inside my heart, I feel alive again. I just got sick of the lose, so I decided. I've been drifting, I keep falling off the deep end. I've been slipping, losing grip of myself. I feel different, I keep falling off the world's edge. I'll never sleep no more, I'll never sleep no more. I've been drifting, I keep falling off the deep end. I've been slipping, losing grip of myself. I feel distant, I keep falling off the world's edge. I'll never sleep no more, I'll never sleep no more. Fuck a silver lining, I just wanna feel right again. I just really wanna feel how I felt back then when it felt real, so real. Yeah. When I wake at 5 a.m., I don't really wanna fight again. I just really wanna feel her skin on my skin, her breath on my neck. I've been drifting, I keep falling off the deep end. I've been slipping,
What's up, everybody? Happy Monday. Hope we all had a good weekend. Had some pretty good weather here in the States. It's always good to get a little sun, makes you feel good. Good to get those melanin levels up. Real quick, just like a little side story before we get into TA, because I think it's kind of funny. So, like the last 2 months, I've noticed that my hearing has gotten really bad. Not like really bad, but I could tell that in my ears, I couldn't hear, and I'd have to turn my volume up. And some of you may know, I play Apex Legends competitively, and I could barely hear my team's callouts and barely hear anything on the map. And today, or actually over the last 2 weeks, I thought I had an ear infection. At least that's what they originally told me. I go to the doctor, and the doctor looks in my ear and goes, "Homie, your ear is so clogged. You need to get that flushed out." So they ended up flushing out my ear, and no joke, a marble, a literal marble of wax came out of my ear. And when it came out, I was like, "Oh my god, I could hear everything." But aside from that, welcome to the stream if you're new. We do this every Monday, Wednesday, Friday around 6 p.m. Eastern. Yeah, between 5 and 6 p.m. Eastern, just depends. I got a lot of people in the chat saying dump, pump, fake pump. Guys, for right now, there's really no answer. I mean, I've always told people, and I always tell my students, you don't just do this. That doesn't happen unless there's a black swan event. In all of Bitcoin's lifetime, we've never seen a V-shaped recovery unless it was COVID. COVID was the only V-shaped recovery, and we were already in a bull market by that point. We were already leading into the bull market. We had already had the halving. We had lots of interest, lots of accumulation already at this 6K level. But if you just look throughout Bitcoin's lifetime, there has never been a V-shaped recovery that didn't end up going down unless it was COVID. So for all of the, and I keep calling them on Twitter, noob analysts, all the people that say this is going to happen, that is not what's going to happen. You need at least 4 weeks of accumulation. I've never seen price just go up without some kind of sideways. And in this sideways, you actually create a bullish reversal pattern. On that bullish reversal pattern, let's say we have, I'm not saying that this is going to happen, but let's say we have a double bottom like this. So you see this, you'd long on this second touch, you'd long here on that breakout, and then as we start breaking, or if we break any other resistance levels, you would, long the breakouts. You're essentially longing every, as soon as we get above that resistance level, as long as volume's there, as long as there's a good show of strength. One thing that I will say, and a lot of people, a lot of analysts or so-called analysts, one, they don't have what's called volume on their chart. If your favorite analyst does not have volume on their chart, you need to reconsider listening to what they say or even reading into their TA. Volume absolutely matters in this market, really in any market. It determines whether the move is valid, whether the support and resistance has been truly lost or tested, if the move is fake and has real buyers behind it and isn't just a bunch of algo bots or a quick pump and dump. Ultimately, what we're seeing here is bearish price action. You will have volume stacking on the selling side as we're going down. Now, obviously, we've had 7 red weeks in a row. Another thing I've seen is we have these people that say, oh, we've had 7 red weeks in a row. Next week will be green. Guys, that's like taking a true and false test, and because you've had 3 questions that were truth, saying, oh, the next one has to be false because the last 3 were true. That's not how that works. Okay, the next 20 weeks straight could be red. You don't know, and trying to trade based off of how you feel and what feels right is never the right answer. Okay, and the other thing, they're I think Justin Bennett said today, he's like, oh, we've had 7 red weeks, shorts are going to get wrecked, all this and all that. And it's like, dude, there's no signs of reversal on any single time frame yet. If you're a swing trader, now if you're a scalper, obviously your trading style is different, you're on lower time frames, and you probably will get wrecked. But for now, I don't see anything that says reversal. Now, could there be one? Now, I am expecting, I've talked to my students, I am expecting something like this, maybe a retest of 42, 43, maybe upwards of 40. And again, that's from where we are now. I mean, you're talking about a 45% to a 30% move. So that's something that I will look forward to trading. But for now, I don't see it happening yet. I have to see the actual setup to get there. Ecstatic for a new Roman stream. I appreciate it. Appreciate it. Watch us trade in the range for a couple weeks, tick higher for a bit, draw them in, and hit retail with a sucker punch. I mean, that's essentially what they did here. And this move again, very low volume, attempting to break out of this resistance area, and that's how we knew, or at least any good trader knows, that these two green candles with this volume, again, that is a fake move. That is not bullish at all. Now, could we have touched 52K? Sure. But as soon as volume starts coming in, and you're seeing volume starting to come in, we immediately sold off. And a lot of people say, oh, low volume pumps, that actually means there aren't any sellers. Actually, you're wrong. That means sellers are in control of the market, and they're trying to get better prices to short. Influencers are still shilling Luna, calling it a great tech. No comment. Can you check the 1 hour time frame? Can it break? I don't really check below 4 hour, man. I'm sorry. Hey, Roman, what are your thoughts on Quan proposing to fork Luna? I think douche Quan, I think he, there are people outside of his house, like, threatening his life and threatening to hurt him. And I absolutely think that if a bunch of people tore him to shreds, the world would be a better place. He is absolutely scamming people. He's costed people a ton of money. There were people that trusted him because he proposed all of these great projects and put out all this great work, I guess. Not only that, he had a tactical distribution scheme that I had actually picked up on as soon as he started doing it. He had another whale, so basically another whale was sending 3,000 Bitcoin to Binance, and Quan was buying it. Like, it was almost instantaneously. Every single time that he went to make a purchase, a whale was sending the exact same amount of Bitcoin that he was going to purchase. So that is called a change of hands, which you see the news that Quan is buying. Retail's like, oh my God, this guy's going to buy $20 billion worth of Bitcoin. And he's actually not. He's actually not reducing supply. He's just exchanging hands with another whale. So what does that mean? That means he's inducing retail FOMO, because retail's like, holy crap, we need to buy this guy. We're going to go to $80 million of Bitcoin. I need to buy right now. So they buy near the top, and then they all sell it. They sell into the retail FOMO, buy up. Every time. It happens every time. 2%, 3% SPY US dollars, more interesting for whales because no risk. I don't know what that means, but Cashflow, what's up, man? How's it going? Greetings from Barcelona, Roman. You are great. Thank you. I appreciate it. All right, let's get into some TA, guys. Let's go through the stock charts first. So, okay, first things first. I just kind of left this rough drawing here. Last week we talked about how I am expecting a retest of the 33,500 level. Now, from where we are now, that's about a 5% pump in the stock market, in the index funds. That's a lot. That's a big pump. What does that mean for crypto? That means crypto could bounce. However, you guys know, this isn't always certain. A bounce or a retest isn't always certain, and we could just go straight down. However, I am looking for that retest level. Again, this is a head and shoulders. It was confirmed. Our neckline was about 33,000. It's a little bit more cleaner to see on the S&P 500. But for the most part, we have fully predicted that this is most likely going to retest. We are oversold. A retest makes sense. We had several red weeks in a row. Lots of lower time frames need that consolidation or that bounce back to reset to continue our downtrend. And we even did a little historical analysis in 2008, and I'll just pull up the side by side real quick. And we showed this on the S&P 500. So on the S&P 500 in 2008, and excuse me, I need to make sure this is the weekly. I do this. So in 2008, we actually had a distributive pattern, just like we have now, head and shoulders. Our neckline's about 42.50. So we're anticipating this to bounce back and retest. Why? In 2008, we have a double top. It gets broken down and retested. So basically what I'm saying is we are at this stage right now where we should have that little bounce back, go further, maybe bounce once more, and then either, obviously crash, but I think it'll be more prolonged, but we'll still head down. Essentially, the direction is down here. So in my opinion, I think we bounce, retest, bounce, retest. We were massively oversold here, continue lower, and then eventually get into a range where we can really buy. I would be buying anywhere in this little circle here. 1,000 to 800 level would be my DCA range here. Anything where the S&P 500 is down 40%, again 40%, about that $1,000 that 1,000-point level. That's where you want to begin DCAing when you know that the average, I guess, recession. So like on average, recession takes the S&P 500 down like 50%. Sometimes it's more, sometimes it's less. Regardless, you want to buy or start buying when you start getting near that average. That way you can capitalize on lower prices. And another thing, we're most likely going to consolidate near the bottom for quite a while. This is a weekly chart. It looks like we had, I just want to take a rough guess, like 30 weeks, 44 weeks, so about a year. In this like 1,000 range. Now you would have gotten a little lower, could have gotten a little higher, but regardless, you have a whole year of DCAing ahead of you in this range. And I'm just showing this as a comparison with Bitcoin and how you'll DCA and at least capitalize on the bear market. But again, S&P 500 showing that head and shoulders, also showing that death cross here. Again, ultimately, I think we will retest this area at some point, whether maybe we go down a little bit lower and then retest it. Regardless, a retest would be healthy even in a downtrend. If we just go straight down, that's not a good sign. Like, one, that's not a good sign because our economy is going to take a huge blow, or there was some kind of black swan event. Guys, even in uptrends, you still have periods of sideways before you go up, sideways, up. I would expect the same with the downtrend. I would expect us to go down, maybe a little sideways, maybe a little bounce, and then continue moving on from there. I checked the total charts after the stock indexes. He said he was heartbroken by the crash, and 7 days before, Quan was laughing at the most coins fail. So he is not heartbroken. He's just scamming people and acting like he's compassionate and didn't have a plan for this. Like, he totally knew this was going to happen. Guys, and I hate to be the asshole in the room, but if you actually believed Luna and Do Kwon were doing something bullish for this space, you're wrong. And you need to look out for this moving forward if you lost on the Luna thing. Luna and UST are backed by, well, let's say I'm pretty sure UST is backed by Bitcoin, which is backed by Luna, which is, all of it just sounded like a huge scheme. It just, at least USDT. Now, I know there's all this, I guess, confusion on what USDT is backed by. One, USDT is backed by dollars. A certain percentage of all of the USDT is backed by dollars, and the other percentage, obviously, I know they've had some questions of are things backed and whatnot, but they have assets, like real assets that have value, that aren't just another cryptocurrency that is questionably having value. And that's what backs their coin. That's how they keep it stable. Same with USDC. USDC is backed by $1-to-$1, backed by the US dollar, 100%. Again, I don't understand how people looked at UST and said, wow, that is a great idea. Great idea. All Quan had to do was organize some kind of small sell-off that slowly snowballed and kept rolling, and then he had to sell all his Bitcoin or run away with all his Bitcoin or whatever the hell he did. Luna's never coming back. And that guy deserves to be in prison for life. He really does. He messed up a lot of people, and as much as I tell people, don't invest more than you can lose or more than you can afford to lose, at the same point, what you're investing in, if the leader of what you're investing in, so let's say you're investing in Apple, like people, the Apple CEO needs to be trustworthy. He needs to have the investors, viewpoints and opinions in his mind. Like, basically, you are working your company to the benefit of the shareholders. That is how that works. If you start taking personal interest, you're going to jail. That is how that works. And what Do Kwon is doing was entirely for his own interest. Guys, if you guys didn't know this, Luna and UST also allowed like all these different private funds and private large-handed individuals to sell their UST at 0.92 and close to $1 before the crash. Guys, this was all planned. It was all there. There's no excuse for this. This guy's a criminal and he deserves to go to jail. I don't know what other proof you need. That it's not a question of, okay, maybe something weird happened with the network, it got hacked, someone dumped a bunch of coins and it crashed and their network couldn't handle it. No, this is totally organized. This is totally tactical. I mean, this was totally, it was totally all there. The answers were all there. It was totally going to happen. It's total bullshit. If Bitcoin does have a relief rally, what breakout confirmations would you consider a long trade if you're going to? It depends on the pattern. I don't just trade based on other things. Hi, Roman. What do you think? What do you think, Doge? I don't trade alts in the bear market. Sorry, man. Rich people never announce a huge buy before they do it. That's like giving free money. Yeah, exactly. Everything about Luna was centered on stablecoin APY. I'm pretty sure it was, yeah, but the stablecoin was backed by Bitcoin and Luna. So it was like literally backed on thin air. You know, let's even like Google search it. What is UST backed by? Because I don't think really a lot of people know. So UST was pegged to the dollar, the margin they're pegged because they're backed by reserves. That's just not true. I don't believe that. I don't believe that. I don't believe that because I know I've read that it's backed by Bitcoin. Yeah, backed by Bitcoin. Backed by its sister currency Luna, but it was also backed by Bitcoin. Yeah, guys, that just sounds like a recipe for disaster. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm bullish on crypto. I believe that crypto can change the world and has the ability to. But I'm not going to buy into all these pump and dump schemes and these scams. You guys have to remember, like, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, you had people screaming that Luna was going to take over the world. And now Luna doesn't exist. And these are things that I try to tell you guys every single live stream, every single time you bring up altcoins. This can literally happen to any one of your altcoins, any one of them. Okay? So be on the lookout and stay safe. Let's get into the Nasdaq. Nasdaq looks like absolute shit. Originally, I thought we would bounce up to here, but I fully think we're just going to continue down to this next support level. It looks like we've had some resistance here in the past. I would expect it to be some support. We can also see the large wick there. However, tech is most likely going to continue down. My area of, I guess, accumulation, my accumulation zone, we'll just put an ACC there, is around the $96 to $80 mark. Now, that would be about a, anywhere from a 56 to a 70% crash. However, I think it could go a lot deeper. I really do. I think once you lose the support zone, things are going to get ugly. And this is also the COVID crash. I think a lot of our stocks are going to see their COVID lows. Absolutely. Let's get into DXY and then total. So DXY, doing exactly what we are hoping for. We think that this is going to hit this resistance, which it has this week. Most likely reject, come down. Again, this rejection would allow for a stock market relief rally and a crypto relief rally. That is another reason why I'm expecting a relief rally, or I guess on the hunt, as I said this morning. So, but ultimately, this is a very, very bullish structure. We're going up in a straight line. You have to pull back at some point. This pullback will most likely be close to this diagonal here, and then I would expect this to continue higher. As we all know, the dollar is both fundamentally and technically bullish. I mean, just on the chart, this is insanely bullish. And fundamentally, we know the Federal Reserve is trying to raise the value of the dollar, ultimately to decrease inflation, and we are headed into a recession, if we aren't already in one. What's up, Simon? Man, I'm doing great. I got my ear flushed out and I can hear again. Do I do chart requests? I do. You're more than welcome to super chat them so I can see them. But again, I usually don't go over alts, but if you super chat it, I'd be more than happy to go over your chart for you. But I don't have time to go over every single alt chart, if that makes sense. Thanks for the information. Hey, anytime. You deserve at least 300K subs, bro. Underrated TA analyst for real. I appreciate it, man. It's taken me like 4 or 5 years to get really, really good at this. And this was the year that I kind of tied it all together and got it going. And I just, ultimately my goal is to teach people how to trade, teach people how to invest, get them educated. Unfortunately, I don't have any licenses that allow me to invest for you. Otherwise, I would create a hedge fund and just invest people's money myself. Ultimately, though, my whole thing is educate. There's a lot of scammers in the investing space. There's a lot of bullshit that happens. And my goal is just to protect you and give you guys a safe environment where we can have productive discussion and learn some things. I mean, sometimes there are people that come into my Discord and actually teach me a couple new things, believe it or not. which is good. Sometimes it's good to be tested. It's good to review your system. It's good to stay fresh. If you're not constantly staying fresh as a trader, you're going to fall behind and get absolutely wrecked. My friend told me that we are going to Moon tomorrow. Is that a Spaniard called King of the Bears? Is a Spaniard called King of the Bears? So someone told you we're going to Moon, so that means we're going to Moon. How do you super chat? I think it's like down by the description. I mean, it pops up in my notifications. How many candles would you confirm a breakout or breakdown of support and resistance on a 4-hour? I draw my supply and demand zones based on the 1 day, but we'll get in that momentarily. Let's get into total. Total. Looks like we're losing support here. Ultimately, losing the purple line really does confirm that. But again, I think not holding the golden line, starting to close candles below the golden line, that's where things get ugly. Again, could have a small bounce here as we've bounced off it in the past. But we knifed through it on this weekly candle, and I just don't think it's going to hold if we go down there again. Ultimately, you're looking at a head and shoulders here. I mean, this is a pretty perfect head and shoulders. I don't know where the neckline would be per se. Maybe if you have a diagonal neckline, maybe here. If you have a horizontal neckline, which I think it is, it would be this golden line or this purple line here. So essentially, you lose where I have circled, and this market's going to absolutely knife. You're looking at your next support being this golden line here, and I believe that's almost about a 50% crash from where we are. So you're looking at about 40. I think it's closer to 50. Let me get it even closer. So you're looking at about a 40% drop. That's a big drop. Total 2. Not quite losing support. We will put our golden line right where our last candle close was here. Got some resistance here. So we're clearly in a supply zone, or like a demand zone, not supply. We are in a demand zone right now, which acts as support. That's why price is holding above and not drifting any lower. For now, I'm not seeing any reason that this will stop. However, I am looking for reversal signals. On the 1 day, I mean, this is nothing. This is just a small dead cat bounce. If we hold this area again, we could be talking about a double bottom, but I don't know how high that will run or if it'll even matter at all. Total 3, same kind of thing as total 2, although I think we're right below our candle close again, similar to total 1. So ultimately, we're testing support. And if we lose this support, your next support is very much lower. I've said the same thing with Bitcoin. You lose this 30K, this 28K area, and things are going to get very, very ugly very quickly. Why you don't believe in Cardano? Isn't it a solid project? I mean, that's what guys like. A lot of these altcoins might be solid projects, but that doesn't mean they're ever going to break their all-time highs again. There's 20,000 different cryptocurrencies. Not all of them will survive. I'd guarantee like maybe 10 survive. And, out of those 10, Bitcoin and Ethereum. And then you have 8 others. I'd say like 5 that are already here, and then 3 that are probably going to be new. So you have to remember, like, just because you have an altcoin that you think is great and it does all these things and you're excited about it, don't marry it. Stay in the zone of Bitcoin and Ethereum are most likely going to survive, and my altcoin isn't. I mean, look at something like XRP. XRP's never broken its prior all-time high, and it never will. It never will. Sailor making a live broadcast right now saying Bitcoin to 120K next week. Oh boy. So we're about to crash then, essentially. Let's look at USDT.D. So this is very, very bullish. Well, I mean, this chart is bullish. This is ultimately bearish for crypto. We are in price discovery. There is no resistance anywhere on this chart. Considering we have several green weeks in a row, I would expect a pullback. I would expect this to have some kind of relief downwards and then continue its reign of terror to the upside. For those of you guys that don't know, if we break, obviously I had this here a couple live streams ago, but if we broke this area, it means that Bitcoin was going to dump. That's why when it broke this area, Bitcoin dumped. If it comes back down and knifes back through this, Bitcoin will pump. So essentially when USDT.D goes up, or when it's green, crypto will be red. When it goes down or is red, crypto will most likely go up because the dominance of stablecoins is fluctuating. So if you have stablecoin dominance going down, it's stablecoins are most likely being bought. But if it's going up, there's usually a lot of selling going on. Hey man, got wrecked in Luna. Bitcoin and Ethereum only. I'm telling you, man, like you can make so much money in Bitcoin and Ethereum. And like when you catch the tail end of the bull market, like I don't know, throw like 10% of your portfolio in just some like dog shit altcoins and they do like a 20x and you're straight. You're doing good. You recommend what's that? ST1Y out of this 1A. I don't know what that sentence says, man. You got a couple typos in there. I lost 90% of my portfolio mainly due to the Luna crash and holding on to UST, several other alts within the ecosystem. What would you recommend I do with the remaining 10%? I think that you need to make that decision for yourself and do some research. I wouldn't have never bought in Luna for long-term investing, nor UST. So if I had any money in it, I'd take it out. But then again, you're already down so much, does it even matter? And maybe you just hold it and hope that maybe it goes back up a little bit. Ultimately, I don't make investing decisions for people. I just provide information, and you have to make those choices by yourself. If you have $100,000, how do you distribute into Bitcoin, DCA, or patience until under 20K? I do 1% buys each week. That's what I would do. So basically, you're fully invested over 2 years. All right, let's look at Bitcoin, shall we? So Bitcoin weekly. I'm not going to pull up the death cross chart this time. I think you guys have seen that enough recently. But again, we're kind of in our supply zone, or our demand zone. If we lose this demand zone, this red little box, your next support is here at 20K. I don't know if 20K will even hold because our next support after that is around 11, 12, 13K. I would say a good 13,000. That is where the true support is, I think. I don't think 20K is really a support level. It's only been tested once. However, it could be tested and hold. But you lose this area. You lose this chunk, and things get very ugly very quick. And we need to keep an eye on this because, in my opinion, you DCA between 20 and 12,000. Again, ultimately, I would probably start around 20. Hopefully, price does some of this in here, and we get to absorb all of this buying in here. This, I believe, it would be about a 50% level between 12 and 20. You're looking at, losing maybe 35% on your initial investments. Please analyze, dude. Rashib, dude, you got to stop spamming. You did that last live stream, bro. Like, I'll get to it. The most dangerous moment in investing is the one after a big loss. Yep. How can we buy alts in a bear market to make money if most of them are going to crash? Should we only buy Bitcoin? You should only be buying Bitcoin and Ethereum in a bear market. You should never buy altcoins because most of them will never break their all-time highs, and most of them will never go anywhere. The only time you should be buying alts is at the tail end of the bull market. What altcoins will survive? I have no idea, but Ethereum will definitely survive. All right, Bitcoin daily. Looking like, again, we're in that support zone. No signs of reversal. However, a relief rally could be near. We've gone over the stock indexes, and we've also gone over USDT or USDT.D, and we think that there could be a possible relief rally. Ultimately, I don't see any signs of reversal in here quite yet. There's no divergence here on the daily. We actually are making lower lows in RSI as prices making lower lows. So again, I don't see a reason to be truly bullish. I mean, we haven't seen any signs of reversal. Now, could price bounce around here for a little while? Sure. If this scenario happens, I would be terrified if I'm bullish, if you're long, because that generally implies that that's consolidation to bring RSI back to the mean at 50, and then we will continue our downtrend. Ultimately, I have this diagonal line here. I'm not sure if it even matters, but I just have it just in case. It looks like we're still below our KC indicator, actually testing the top yesterday and causing a dump today. Still very much like I would think we're still in oversold territory, but we could definitely head a lot lower. We are way below the Ichimoku cloud as well, so it's definitely relief rally could be inbound. I don't want to say it's not. Bollinger Bands. Oh, we actually regained the bottom Bollinger Band, so could definitely dump from that indicator. Let's get into the 12-hour. So the 12-hour, no signs of reversal yet. Again, I called this out yesterday. We have volume going down, price going up. That is a dead cat bounce. I fully expect the 27, 26K area to be tested, whether it's like this and we make a double bottom, or ultimately, just dump through the floor and go straight to 20K. Regardless, this was a dead cat bounce. That was an easy spot, and you shouldn't have longed that move because there's no signs of reversal here. You're just bouncing because price is oversold. You can't make trades just based on being oversold or overbought. You can remain oversold or overbought for a very, very long period of time. Just simple moving averages. It looks like we retested the 20 on the 12-hour. And, like I said, there could be a relief rally inbound. But again, I'm expecting the anywhere in this area to be retested. 4-hour. You can see it a little clearer now. We've rejected the 50 on the 4-hour. Again, MACD starting to fade, going to the downside. RSI will make a bearish divergence here. If price goes up to this level again, and I would expect some kind of double top on an even lower time frame, ultimately you have very, very low volume as we're kind of bouncing and going sideways. Another sign of downtrend continuation. Nothing's changing, nothing's reversing. No signs of a bearish reversal pattern just yet. A bullish reversal pattern. However, I mean, if we just went like this, retested this area, I still wouldn't long this. I would play your system and don't go against it. Wait for your system telling you that there is a long opportunity. Best time frame to scalp trade. 15-minute to 4-hour, but in my opinion, I wouldn't scalp this market. Too much work. Your opinion on the future of metaverse project coins? I think they're all pump and dump schemes, man. I think maybe one or two of them will survive. Buying Bitcoin and Ethereum only is too conservative. Nothing wrong with buying a few alts with gambling money. I mean, you can, but you can literally make a 20 to 80x in over a year time frame. So I don't understand how that's conservative. And as an investor, that's an insane amount of money you're making. You put $1,000 in, get an 80x over a year. That's nuts. And I can't understand why people won't just buy Ethereum and Bitcoin. They're safe. You can make a 20x, 30x, 50x from the bottom. If you DCA, I mean, you'll definitely make at least a 10x. And, if you can walk away with a 10x over a 2 or 3 year time period, you're doing a great job. You're outperforming the stock market by 100 times. So I just don't get this notion where people are like, oh, I need to buy these altcoins. I need to do this with altcoins. Guys, ignore altcoins. Ignore them. 99% of them are pump and dump schemes. 99% of them. They will have no future use case. I don't care what their use case is now. They're completely useless. Would below 20K be quick, or do you think no? We would accumulate for months if we get below 20K and you want to go back up. What's your advice to people who are trying to scalp Bitcoin on the 5-minute chart? Stop trying to scalp on a 5-minute and just swing trade. A lot less work. You make a lot more money, and you get to keep the hair on your head. All right, let's look at Bitcoin dominance real quick. So Bitcoin dominance, holy crap. All right, it looks like we're about to break out. We called this double bottom the other day, and ultimately very, very bullish for Bitcoin dominance, but this is very, very, very bearish for Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, especially altcoins. When Bitcoin dominance is rising, that means the market is falling. Basically, altcoins are a more dramatic effect of Bitcoin. So when Bitcoin goes up, altcoins go up more. When Bitcoin goes down, altcoins go down more. So when Bitcoin dominance goes up, we know that we are most likely in a bear market. Although I've thought we've been in a bear market for the last year. Again, we're kind of testing this diagonal resistance here. You get a breakout and your coins are going to absolutely die. At least your altcoins. Maybe Bitcoin holds 20K, 29K, 30K, but a lot of these alts will get absolutely crushed. I mean, you can see it now. Bitcoin's only down 4% now, and a lot of these alts are down 5, 10. You got some 6s, a couple 4s in here, 10, 7. I mean, they're down a lot more than Bitcoin is. But ultimately, looking here at a 4-hour, I mean, this looks like an uptrend consolidation. It could consolidate for a little longer, and then a breakout. That breakout, in my opinion, would cause a dump. We would lose 30K. I think Bitcoin would dump quite a bit. Ultimately, you know, although I say a relief rally is possible, it doesn't mean it's going to happen. This is a very, very bullish structure. We saw the double bottom here. That ended up going up quite a bit, and now we're seeing a double bottom here. That looks like it wants to continue going higher. If we look at this on a macro scale, if we look at this on a macro scale, you can see that we're about to break a huge diagonal resistance level that has had very, very large rejections in the past. And the fact that we're holding it and looking to break out is not a good sign for altcoins, and even Bitcoin alone. I mean, you're not even close to a bull market at this point. Bitcoin dominance will most likely go back into the 60-70% area before any type of bull run. They want $100 to become $1 million in a few days. Yeah, it's just not going to happen. Yeah, getting rich overnight, like in trading, just it's never going to happen. What is the sign of reversal that you were looking at? Any kind of bullish reversal pattern? Roman, you are a breath of fresh air in the space. Brother, your help is much appreciated. Think I'll wait for a relief bounce and try and sell at the right time to buy back at the bottom. Good luck, gents. Hey, appreciate it, man. Much, much appreciative. DCing shorts. You could definitely do that. I secretly want everything to crash so I can buy more. I think that's what everybody wants, to be honest. Please check Bitcoin, Ethereum. You mean Ethereum to Bitcoin? Yeah, we can, but I've already discussed that you have a head and shoulders here. The neckline is this diagonal line. If you start to lose this diagonal line, things are going to get very ugly very quickly. There are too many signs here that say a crash is coming, especially for altcoins. I would highly suggest that you guys stop looking at all these altcoins because the reversal signs are there. Everything is there that says we are about to crash. Why is my nose so itchy? Like the bottom of it. Excuse me. But yeah, essentially you're looking at a distributive pattern. And Ethereum losing value to Bitcoin means that all these other altcoins are going to get absolutely slaughtered. So between Bitcoin dominance and Ethereum to Bitcoin, it looks like we're about to see an altcoin crash or altcoin capitulation, especially being that this is the final support. You're seeing a head and shoulders here. Things do not look very good for altcoins. Can Bitcoin go under 10K? It can absolutely do that. It can absolutely go under. It could cease to exist. These notions where Bitcoin will never break 20K or Bitcoin's going to 3K. Guys, nothing is certain. Nothing is set in stone. We don't know. Nobody knows. But I will say, calculating the directional moves of this and using indicators to get a better hold on things is definitely possible, especially when you relate to macro standpoint and looking at higher time frames. But this notion that Bitcoin can never go under 10K, guys, Bitcoin has never seen an economic recession, and we are either in one or about to be in one. And to me, volatile assets are always sold first in an economic recession or right before, and usually drop the hardest, like way harder than indexes. What coin do I like to short? Like I said, I really only trade Bitcoin and Ethereum, man. I don't really look at all these other altcoins. They're just a waste of time to me. I don't really short that much. I don't need to. And again, I really only make trades when I see reversal patterns, whether it be bearish or bullish on a higher time frame chart. What exchange do I use for shorting? I use Bitget. I believe there's a link somewhere in the chat or in the description below. 13,800. Mark it in the books. Mark it in the books, he says. All right, guys. I am hungry, and I'm going to go eat. For those of you that don't know, I'm going to keep my trading classes open until the end of summer and basically start to do them live in next fall. So if you're one of those people that just likes to watch the videos, you don't need the live sessions, you just kind of want to learn how to trade during this crypto winter period, this summer when you may or may not have more time on your hands, I highly suggest it. You get a private chat with me, trade setups. The only thing you don't get is those live sessions. And I'm not going to be, I'll still be active in chat, but I'm not, as active as I'd like to be. With that said, Bitget is hosting a trading competition. The full description is in my Discord, and you can also see the links in the chat and the YouTube description below. MEXC is also going to host a trading competition. As soon as I get an invite link, I'll send it out. Both trading competitions have huge rewards, and if you have a small account and you think you're a great trader, I would highly recommend trying or competing, because who doesn't want to make a bunch of money while you're making a bunch of money trading? It's just too easy at that point. With all that said, guys, please be patient, use risk management.